Businesses all across the planet are looking to make connections with people. Well, guess what? Divine Connections magazine is helping businesses not only walk in their purpose and passions, but to get connected to their potential. That's right. You've got to connect to your potential, and you can make it happen now because it is time to know your worth. As you get connected to people all across the planet, Divine Connections magazine will make it happen. And get featured in the magazine today and get your copy now, because there's no other time than a divine time to get connected to Divine Connections magazine.
Terrell Goodman is the CEO of TS&F Consultant and Management, LLC, a veteran-owned and operated family business that offers professional services for veterans. This company operates with a group of associate members with an average of 38 years of hands-on experience in their respective professions. They are committed to the highest principles, standards, and values to assure each client's success. To find out more, contact TS&F Consultant and Management, LLC today. Just call 877-365-0817, extension 104.
I Give You Peace Ministries is on a mission with an awesome purpose. Led by Pastor Peace, their mission is to raise funds to build a multi-purpose building, which will include a state-of-the-art facility for youth in the community, a senior program that will include various activities, and it will also include a kitchen to provide meals to the community. Support the building fundraiser today. Donate to Cash App $Walk of Peace or paypal.me/IGYP Ministries. Great day, everyone. This is Dolores Williams with Divine Connection. Hope all is well. Divine Connection is a magazine that comes out quarterly in print as well as online. We connect with different businesses, entrepreneurs, gospel artists, authors, anybody that's doing something great in the community to make it happen and make a significant difference. And so how do you stay connected with Divine Connections? So we have several ways. You can subscribe to our website, our email, which is divineconnectionmagazine.com. Go there and subscribe to our email list to stay updated with news and what's going on with Divine Connections. We are also on Facebook, and you can go to Divine Connections Marketing and like that page. We are also on Instagram at Divine Connections, which is one word. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is The Divine Connections. If you are interested in getting your business or your ministry in Divine Connections magazine, make sure you email me at divineconnectionsmagazine@gmail.com. All right, so this magazine comes out quarterly. This is the current magazine that we have right now. And this runs, of course, for 3 months. You can get your copy at divineconnectionsmagazine.com/subscriptions. We have business owners, gospel artists, events, great things that's going on. Also, so the next big event actually is Divine Connections 11th magazine anniversary, where we will be celebrating 11 years of publication and networking. I will have different gospel groups, praise dance, mimes, vendors, food trucks, and so much more. So I would love to have you in the place. And I have about 5 or 6 more vendor spots left. So if you would like to be a vendor for this event, text 336-338-8903. And let me see what you do. Now, I already have paparazzi, so that's already filled. But if you do anything else, please let me know. Again, you can text 336-338-8903. So next on our agenda is a sponsorship. So before and after my interviews, I have different spots where sponsors can do a 30-second spot, and that will remain and run for 3 months. So we do a 3-month agreement for sponsorship. That's only $150 if you would like to see your business or your ministry run and on a consistent basis so people can see who you are and what you do, because you are a problem to someone's solution. All right. So Again, the event is coming up. Make sure you get your ticket. To only attend is $12. And you'll be able to network and worship and enjoy yourself as well. So go to divineconnectionsmagazine.com/events. Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So definitely make sure you stay connected with Divine Connections. And last but not least, this week I actually opened my Divine Connection store. So I'll share some things with you. Basically, to order, you text 336-338-8903. Tell me what you would like, and we will get it out to you. Now, this store is going to be open for about 10 days or 10 to 15 days, and we'll put your orders in, get your invoices out, get those paid, and then get things out. Okay. All right. So you see our stem glass for Divine Connections. We have that. We also have our short glasses as well. We have our mugs, our wonderful mugs as well, our glass mugs. And then, of course, I love to cook with my onions and my fresh onions and peppers. We have a cutter, Divine Connections cutter, that you can also have in your kitchen, or as somebody say, just have it on a display. I love that as well. And then we have coasters. My saying is always make it happen, because that's what we all need to do. What God has given us gifts and talents and skills to make it happen. And so we have coasters as well. And then we also have our cozies as well to put your drinks on. And then last but not least, of course, we have our t-shirts. So we have our purple t-shirt. Okay. We have our yellow, and I love different colors, of course. We also have our orange. And then we have black as well. Okay. So those are some things that's in Divine Connection store. Go and support. Make sure you text 336-338-8903 or email me for your order. Again, I'm leaving the store open for about 10 days. Get your orders in, make your payments, and then we ship out. All right. So I'm excited about that. Wonderful. So next, we're going to introduce our guests, which I am so excited about. Okay. Because there are great things going on that you all have no idea what's about to happen. Okay. And so I'm grateful to introduce to you the Williams family. How are you? This is Miss Leslie and Mr. Neal Williams. Great day. How are you guys?
We are well, thank you.
Thank you.
Doing good, doing good. Awesome. Okay, so I want you to tell the audience a little bit of who you are and where you're from, and then we'll get into what you do.
Okay. So, first of all, I want to thank you for allowing us this time to talk about our business and tell you a little bit about what we do. I am Leslie Williams, and this is my husband, Neal Williams. He is CEO of Neal Williams General Contracting and Mobile, and I am vice president. And we're just going to talk a little bit about our business and what we do, and the things that go on as far as construction is concerned, as far as the do's and don'ts, and things to expect when you are wanting to hire a contractor. So I'm gonna turn it over to my husband now.
How are you? Can you hear me?
I can. Yes, sir.
Just because I've been out all day long and I don't want to sit near my wife, and even though I'm vaccinated, which is a plus, I still don't
Get vaccinated too.
Yeah, I still don't want to sit that close and and talk. But Neal Williams started as a concept, and it's followed along the path of a lot of companies that my wife and her family own. I think one of her cousins was probably one of the best contractors in Reedsville, North Carolina. And he did a lot of work at my mother-in-law's house and stuff like that.
Awesome.
And I marvel about every Sunday. And I look at what he's done, basically how he was able to take a room that wasn't square and make it square.
Mm-hmm.
So, we started this thing probably about, let's say maybe about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And one of the hardest parts about starting a business, it's not the startup money. It's just being able to get a customer to believe in the concept that you're putting forward.
Mm-hmm.
And as I tell every one of my customers, you have to see it to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I do is with my customers, I invite them to other customers' house and
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, what you've seen in pictures, what you've seen in videos, this is the live version of what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we started to do was, okay, when we would build houses and things like that, we couldn't do the plumbing, we couldn't do the electrical. Although we were a general contractor, we
Mm-hmm.
would sub those things out. So what we did was, I went to school for all those things: plumbing, electrical, HVAC, to have all of those licenses. And when people would say, okay, well, we've got the house built, now we need to put the plumbing in. I say, okay, hey, I'm right here. I'm the plumber. Well, I thought you was the GC. Yeah, I'm the GC too. Hey, we need electrical. I'm right here. I can do the electrical.
Mm-hmm.
And what it did was it allowed us to be a one-stop shop
Mm-hmm.
where you don't have to call several people to get a quote. You've gotten a quote for the whole job.
Mm-hmm.
I experienced a very horrific accident on a job where I was a superintendent,
Mm-hmm.
and that accident right there let me know in my heart and in my mind that nobody cares about you but you.
Mm.
And it came to a point where I severed a part of my, well, actually, severed and put back on a part of my body.
Mm.
And nobody even came to see me in the hospital. Now, I've made this company millions and millions and millions of dollars, and
Mm.
nobody came to see me in the hospital.
Wow.
And my wife was there, and we were wondering, what are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
There's a body part of yours that is messed up now, so what can we do? And I said, look, as long as I'm able to write with my left hand, what I'm going to do is go back to school again,
Mm-hmm.
get a couple of more licenses, and we'll be able to go forward.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we did, and it brought us to this point right here. And that point is, it's decent. It's
Yeah.
very decent. We make a very decent living.
Awesome. So basically, you had an experience, and then you worked hard and made another company a lot of money. And then when you were in need, nobody showed up for you. And
Nobody.
so you took that experience and turned it around and said, "Okay, no problem. Thank you for the education. Thank you for the experience. And now that I have it, you can't take it away. I got it under my belt, and I'm going to start my own."
Hey, that's exactly
But
right.
let me just say that before we did anything, we took it to God. And
That's right.
We prayed and we asked for direction
Mm-hmm.
because we didn't understand, and it wasn't for us to understand. All we need to do is trust God and trust that He's going to lead us in the right path, and He did. He and the way that you know that it's God, everything flows.
That's right.
There are no hiccups. You have no problems. Everything just falls right into place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened with our company.
Yeah.
Awesome. So this company started when?
It was 10 years ago,
Okay.
and we were doing small jobs,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in the retail field.
Mm-hmm.
So I would work, construction on the weekend. I would build decks, porches.
Mm-hmm.
Always been pretty good with a saw, if that makes any sense. So I do a lot of stuff on the weekends, and my wife would always tell me, "You make more on the weekends than you do during the week."
Mm.
And I said, "Well, I never wanted to be able to let my job go because it had the benefits, it had the vacation, it had the company car, it had the company credit cards, and all those things I got comfortable with.
Yeah.
All the perks. But on the weekends, I would build a deck. I'd start on Friday evening. and wouldn't finish until maybe Sunday evening. And I was noticing that I would make 2 or 3 times more than what I would make wearing a suit and tie. So we talked about it, and we said, no, not right now. You know, because he was used to the company credit cards. I mean, hey, having that company credit card, that was nice. That was really nice. And the first thing we did, basically, I bought a house, and I paid. Well, they wanted $21,000 for the house, and I paid $16,500 for it. And so my wife said, "What are we going to do with it?" And I said, "Just watch." And that weekend, we got together, and I drew out all the plans. I said, "This is what we need to do. This is how this concept's going to work." And no, I didn't go to the national guru and $150,000 to tell me how to do what he doesn't know how to do.
Come on, that's right.
What he doesn't now, he can tell you to go buy a house, but he can't tell you what. He's not going to tell you what to look for when you're buying it. So the first thing that I did when we got ready to buy the house, I didn't even walk in the door. I immediately threw this same suit on, and I went straight up under the house. I said, "Wait a minute. These pipes have been changed in the last 30 years, and this is not galvanized steel. So this is not going to be hard right here." And I went to the electrical box and said, "Okay, I know I can fix this right here." And an electrical box cost the customer $500. It cost me $100. So being able to rewire the house and get everything ready. Well, we started working in the house, and this is what's interesting. We fixed the house up so good, but when it was time to sell it, people were coming to us and said, "We don't want to offer you this kind of money because it's the best looking house on the street." And I'm like, "Wait a minute. I thought you bought a house to fix it up." And what I learned was you can't fix the house up better than the houses on the street unless you plan on buying all the houses on the street.
Okay.
So guess what we did?
Lesson learned. All right. You bought the houses on the street.
I bought 3 of them.
All right.
And I fixed them all up the same way. But now remember, I didn't pay that much for them. $16,000, $15,000, $13,500. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and the reason why we took that chance, and again, it goes back to prayer. We prayed and asked God. This was around the time that COVID really hit, and you know, people were hearing about COVID, and people were panicking. They didn't know anything about COVID, had never heard about COVID. People on the radio talking about stock up on toilet tissue, you know, food, everything. People, they were looking at their money, their bank, their accounts and stuff. And so a lot of people were selling houses that they had. And right now the housing market is booming. But when COVID came, people were literally almost giving away their houses because they were trying to get that income because they didn't know, you know, what to expect as far as COVID. So we were blessed to buy, actually it was 4 houses.
Yep.
It was 4 houses for almost a steal. And but it was during that time, COVID.
And one of the things that I learned is, you know, us, and when I say us, I'm talking about mankind. I'm not talking about any in particular race, color, or anything like that. I'm talking about us as a mankind have got to learn to go with our gut and go with the way we feel. And if it doesn't work out, then guess what? And this is something that I've heard my pastor say many times. Just because God doesn't mean he can't. So, you know, back to buying a house. Bought all the houses on the street, or 4 of them. Fixed them all up. Now here comes an investor. He said, "Well, I want to buy your houses." And I told him, I said, "Well, let me talk to my wife." And of course, the answer is always no. Never be afraid to say no. Never let $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Never let that excite you, because it's just money. It goes and comes. Just like you going to drink a glass of water. It just goes and comes. So the investor said, for all 4 houses, I'll give you about $65,000 a piece. And I said, absolutely not. I said, why would I do that? I don't rent the houses. The bank doesn't have a mortgage on the house. I own them.
Come on now.
I own these houses right here. So $65,000 a house is not enough. So I waited, never put anybody in the houses and everything like that, kept them all up, kept them looking good or whatever the case may be. If the right investor comes along. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm bragging, so I won't even tell you exactly how much I sold the houses for. But let me tell you this right here. If he was offering me 65 to even get me to move up out of the bed, he better been somewhere close to 100.
Right.
He better been somewhere close to 100 per house.
Right.
And so that started us. And then just that feeling, that desire. Guess what happened after we sold the 4 houses? The desire went away. Everything that was so far that we wanted to touch, everything that we wanted to do, we had done within 6 months. Within 6 months, bought, sold, flipped. So we retired from that. And my wife said, well, what are we going to do now? I said, well, guess what? This investor wants us to fix up a couple of houses for him. More profit, easier, because he's fronting all the money and everything like that. So let's go do this. So he bought some houses, and we charged him a certain amount of money, and he didn't make what we made. So he was upset. He said, I don't understand how you can sell a house and it be worth $100,000, but I bought these houses for a little bit more than what you bought them for, and I can't get what you got out of them. Well, guess what? You can't get what God has.
Come on, sir.
Yes.
That's right. Favor.
No matter how hard you try and how hard you look, you can, and it was something I said many years ago. You can wear my clothes. You can drive my car. You can read my books, but you're never gonna be
That's
me
right.
and my wife.
That's
and
right.
that's that Holy Ghost boldness right there.
That's right. That's
You're
right.
never gonna be able to talk to the people that I'm able to talk to. Era la trabajar en este día ahí. Y necesito la muchas personas que la trabajar en este día ahí. So you're never gonna be able to do exactly what we do. Because we come at it from a spiritual angle.
Come on.
But we also understand when we're in Rome, we do as the Romans do.
Come on.
If that makes any sense. And everything that we do between 9 and 5 is never personal. It's just business. And that's what I'm telling your viewers, your subscribers, the people that are around you, that anything that I can do, a poor kid from the projects, anything I can do, you can do. Because I didn't have a mama I had a mama who prayed. I had a daddy who was a Vietnam veteran, but they didn't leave, they didn't give, and well, my mother's alive, my father's passed away. He didn't leave me $1 million. He left me some bills, and I paid them. It makes any sense, and I paid them all.
Right.
But he didn't leave me anything. But I had one factor. I had my wife, I had my son, and I had my God.
That's right.
That's all I need. That's all I need.
Love it.
So, kind of wanting to touch on the contracting side.
Yes.
Beware of contractors. We found that there are a lot of contractors out here who are scammers, and they make good contractors, such as my husband and myself. They make people question, if you're really real and sincere and you're not just out trying to get their money. Always, if you're wanting to hire a contractor, always ask to see their license. My husband is a general contractor. He has his license. He's also a mold remediator. He has his license. A lot of people think that when you have mold, you can just use bleach to clean mold. Not true at all. You're actually feeding the mold. And you'll have a lot of those contractors that will tell you, well, I can get rid of your mold. All I have to do is just use a little bleach, or maybe go to Home Depot and buy this concoction that they sell there and clean your mold. They're not doing that. So here it is. You hire this person that you haven't checked out their credentials, and you've given them all this money, and you notice 6-7 months later, your mold issue is back. So always make sure and ask to see their credentials. The second thing, if a contractor comes to you and says, oh yeah, we can do all this work, we can do this, we can do that, blah, 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 blah. We need, and the project is, let's just say $10,000. And they say, but we need half of the money up front. Immediately close the door. Close the door.
Because at Neal Williams, this is how much we charge you up front. You ready, baby?
Yeah.
This is how much we charge you up front. Zero. And the reason why we do it that way is because we want to get paid for work done, not work talked about.
Come on.
If that makes any sense to you. So the way we do it is this. We got a $10,000 project. I hadn't had one of them in a while. We usually 20, 30, 40. If I might toot my own horn for about 10 seconds. Those kind of projects. When I go on a job, my immediate goal is to look out for you. Now we're gonna discuss how that has hurt me doing work for people. We'll talk about how that has hurt me doing work, because they all peaches and cream. So we're building a deck, and I tell you, hey, I'll draw it up. You call Lowe's, and we know at the Lowe's that we deal with in Greensboro, the manager there, I bought over $1 million worth of wood from them. And so when I walk in the door, I get the utmost respect. I can move to the front of the line. Doesn't matter. So what we allow the customer to do is to get our discount. Now, and this should be this is the beware part. When you're paying for a board that goes on a deck, or 5/4 board, they're usually a 16-foot piece of 5/4 board costs you $23 to $16 a board. Well, because we get a military discount, that's 10% off. And because I get a volume discount, that's usually between 15 and 25%. Well, guess what I do with that? I pass that on to the customer. They say, well, how much do I have to pay? Well, I added everything up, and it was supposed to be $5,000. But the lady from Lowe's called me and told me that it was only $2,500. Yeah, it was only $2,500 because I let you use my discount. Because I've already charged you a price. And when I charge you that price, I try to stay in that price. If there's some new discoveries, we really, really try to work with a customer. If there's $1,500 worth of extra work that can be done, I'm already at your house. Give me $500. Nobody's, even if I stop the job right now, no other contractor's gonna come in here and do it for $500. They won't. They can't. But I'm saying, if they wanted to, they couldn't charge you that kind of money. But what, and like I said, we always talk about the positive. My wife always tells me to stay positive, but then we got to talk about the negative too. Ma'am, I can't tell you what's behind this wall unless it's mold, because it is the one thing that I'm allergic to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm when I say I'm allergic to mold, I mean I am very allergic to it. As soon as I smell it, I can tell you exactly where it was.
Mm-hmm.
So we were doing an apartment section, a real, I guess and I want to use the right words because I'm from the country and
So,
I wasn't raised with a whole lot of money, so I had to let my wife use the right word. What do you call an apartment section where rich people live at? Yeah, well, it was a gated community, and so the lady had bought 4 mold guys in there. And they said, oh, we got to tear all of this up, and this is where the mold is, and this, and this. I walked in there and see, and what I do, and I want you guys out there to listen to what I say. I have what you call a country boy all shucks attitude. All shucks. You know where I'm coming from? Now, knowing that I'm the smartest one in the room, but the way that I come off is just like all shucks.
mm-hmm.
That country boy all shucks. I don't really know too much, got my hands in the pockets, kicking around or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
When in actuality, I know exactly what's going on in it. So by me being allergic to mold, I can smell the wall and tell you each wall that has mold. And so the guy says, well, why should I hire you? And I said, well, I don't have the education that the other guys have. And, I did go through a little bit of schooling. I said, but we'll do it like this right here. You give me a hammer and I'm going to hit every wall where the mole is. And if I miss, then you can hire them. And I'll fix the wall myself. I said, but if I hit the mole each time, then we'll charge you this price. He said, I'll accept that price all day. I went and got the hammer, put my nose up against the wall. Boom, mold right here. Black mold. I called it before it came out. Boom, penicillin mold right here. This is what makes your throat itch. Aspiratic mold. Boom, right here. And once I did those 4 holes right there, he was like, well, why didn't those guys do what you did? And I said, because I'm allergic to mold. That's number 1. And number 2, it was going to cost you $27,000 to tear your house all the way apart. And guess what? I don't want to do that.
And let me interject, and I'm not sure how long we have, but a lot of customers think that air test, as far as mold is concerned, is the best way to detect mold. Not true.
Not true.
That's another myth. It's not true. The best way to test mold is to do exactly that, and that's to test mold. Get a swab it. We send it off to the laboratory. We get a full report that emails directly to the customer, and it tells you exactly what type of mold you have. But I know our time is dwindling down, but I did want to say this to people. God has blessed us. He has truly, truly blessed us, and is continuing to bless us. And I acknowledge Him every day. So what we do in our company is we try to give back. We try to give back to that lady who is living off of her retirement, but still wants a deck in her backyard, but can't afford it. We work with her as far as what she can afford, what her budget is. We try to work with people, like that. We don't just cater to those who can afford the $35,000 decks, the $50,000 decks. We just did a lady right before 4th of July. She wanted a deck for her cookout. and all she had was $5,000. That's all she had, and she literally cried over the phone because she was wanting to have a cookout for the four. We went into our bank account because we knew it was going to cost more than 5,000, and took out the money that she needed to build this deck. Was it a triple deck? No. Quadruple deck? No. Double deck? No. That we normally build? No. But it was a deck, and she was happy and satisfied, and she cried so hard when she saw her deck because she was able to have her cookout for the 4th of July. And those are the type of people that we are. God has blessed us, so we want to bless you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I love that. So y'all do a multiple of things. Y'all do decks, y'all do plumbing, y'all do electricity, and you also build houses, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. So tell us about and you built your own house, correct?
Yes.
We're in the process.
And we have another one that we're building, but we built this yesterday.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So give us some pointers on maybe if someone's electricity needs to be checked, what are some pointers you need to look at? The HC system, the mold, like what are some pointers people need to look at if it's time for those things to change?
Okay. Simple. Electricity. Just look up at your light bulb. You see it flickering? Now, this is a trade secret. You know, I actually charge people to come in their house and do this right here. And they'll say, "Well, you was only here 5 minutes. Why do I owe you $500?"
We charge some people.
Some people. So I look up at the light's blinking. Okay, and I trace that light, and I'll trace it all the way back to upstairs, and I'll trace that wire right there all the way. I'll trace the wire all the way to the other side of the house and see where the brick is. Because there's a brick in that line. And usually sometimes it's when you staple, you staple your D13, which is the wire that you use. You staple your D13 and you may staple it and staple the wire itself. So that's where the flickering is coming from. It just causes like a little shortage in it or whatever the case may be. Now, your typical contractor is going to try to make that into more than what it ever could be. Guess what I'm going to tell you? Ma'am, give me $100 because I got 50 other things to do. And let me fix this right here for you. And that'll be the end of your problem. But the light's flickering, if that makes any sense. And every time a storm happens, your box, which which is where all of your wires go. And if it flickers off or something like that right there, or if it pops up or whatever, that's one of the signs that you've got some faulty electrical going in your house. Now, you can get down. Everybody wants to be a scientist. When it doesn't take a rocket scientist to do anything, just a little bit of common sense. Now, everybody wants to be a rocket scientist. And what I tell everybody is, I don't have an ego because guess what? I'm not a rocket scientist.
Right.
All I do is observe the area that's around me, and I can figure it out from there. So that's one of them. As far as mold is concerned, if anything that's in your house that has been wet, anything, and it's been wet with this much water right here, you can best believe that there's mold involved. Now, there's also, you got sanitation lines that run through your house that you can't hear. It's water that goes through pipes that you can't hear. So this much water will destroy a $300,000 house in 6 months. We had a woman, the flashing around her chimney. I don't want to use contract speak, so I'll just say the plastic around her chimney. I'll just use that. I'll use it like that for viewers who don't know what I'm talking about. it had started taking on water, but she couldn't hear it.
Mm.
By the time it was all said and done, she owned. I think the house was worth about $800,000.
Mm.
2 floors.
Mm-hmm.
I went in, I looked around, and I looked at that damage right there, and it was a job that I couldn't even take. I said, "Damn, it take me 20 guys in here, maybe 30, to tear down everything in here. All this expensive crown molding is
Mm.
all gone."
Wow.
And the woman said, "Well, Neal, is there anything you can do to help me?" And I said, "Ma'am, the only thing that I could do to you is take your money and promise you something I couldn't give."
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
and as far as like the HVAC system, we found a lot of times if you just change your filter,
Mm.
that's what has been a lot of people's problems this summer, because they'll tell us that their air conditioner is not cooling, it's not working or whatever. Just check your filter first before you call a contractor to come in. And 9 times out of 10, if your filter is really dirty, or if you know that you haven't changed it in a while, that'll fix the problem. If you do change the filter and it doesn't fix the problem, then we're talking about something that may be a little more extensive as far as work needing to be done with that. And even with that, make sure that you hire someone. They again have their certifications.
That's right.
Make sure they show that, because there's a lot of people out here that are skilled and that know how to do the work and fix your problem, but they have no license. And if it goes wrong, if they fix it and then it goes wrong, and then you try to call your insurance company and you say, well, who did you get to fix your issue the first time? And you say, James Rogers. And they call James Rogers and they say, okay, so who do you work for? What's your certification?
Yeah.
And he says, well, I really don't have none. I've just been doing this since I was 17 years old. And guess what? Your insurance company is going to be like, we're not touching it.
No. No.
So that's been a frustration with a lot of customers as well. They try to get their insurance company involved, and
They won't do it.
they won't do it because maybe a year ago they had somebody else to do it that wasn't certified.
You know, and this is a tip for your viewers. And I think we talked about this in I think it's called the green room. But we talked about this. One of the things for your customers are check your insurance policies.
Yeah.
We had 76 insurance claims last year. Ask me how many of them went through.
How many?
0.
Wow.
Because the insurance company would call in somebody. Let me tell you who has power over me, besides God, is a structural engineer. Even though we have the same amount of schooling, we're in the same things, because he's connected with the state of North Carolina, he can come in there and ask you, and this is for contractors, that maybe a contractor that's listening. You got a bonus room upstairs. It's 22 on center. That means that what we have to do is go in here and put another subfloor down, felt paper, and then another floor down. Because he wants it to be he wants it to be stable. Even though 22, and 22 on center is a big gap. But guess what? We found out that we was only 16 on center, which is all that the state requires you to have to build on top of. Even when he found out that we were 16 on center, I guess I must have said something to upset the man. Literally, he still made us do all of that, and all of that right there was past the customer's budget. So when you're buying houses, when you're doing whatever you're doing, man, I don't want to talk about the house. My wife can tell you whatever color she wants in here. And, you know, she's usually talking to my own guys, but I'm just using this as an example. I don't care about anything that's going on in here. Let me see the insurance information. What it says about mold. And what it says about natural disasters. And those are the things that we don't do as a nation. And I'm not talking about any in particular person. We don't check our insurance policies.
Come on, that's good.
Yeah, because it may say it covers mold, but if it's raining and you have like a crack in your window and the rain goes through the window and damages your walls, the insurance company will cover that.
That's an act of God.
Right. It doesn't say that in the policy. That's what's best too, that when you do get an insurance policy, you ask your insurance in person your specific questions. Okay, I see it covers mold. What does it cover? You know, if this happens, is this covered? You have to ask specific questions.
And hey, there's nothing wrong with getting them on tape.
I know that's right.
But you get them on tape. Because I mean, hey, I mean, it's your house, it's your biggest investment. And if you don't quantify your biggest investment, then what else will you just leave out? And you know, and I've seen people heartbroken. And I live on, you know, on a certain side of town. I'll say it like that right there. And this guy had mold, and the structural engineer said that the house wasn't engineered right. So I built that house right there. I built, and when I say I built that house, that means that everything's a cookie cutter. You don't have anything any special than what anybody else has. It may be just turned a different way.
Right.
And so I've built those section of houses. You know, so I knew that there was nothing wrong with him. Now, although this guy treated us like mud, he treated us like dirt, I still felt sorry for him because the mold was eating up through his hardwood floors. And he was so nasty to us, if that makes any sense. I wasn't going to do anything extra to help him. I told him what the structural engineer would say, and that was about as far as I went.
And this is just my husband being transparent.
Yeah.
He treated us like mud, and I said, okay, no problem. And I said, well, sir, I think you're going to need me soon. And he looked at me. He said, oh, I'll never need you. I said, okay. Well, don't worry about it. Okay, no problem. So it comes down about 3 weeks later. They give me the structural engineer's report and said, can you help me? But you know what I did? I read it anyway. It takes me about 24 hours to read that report to really understand what they're looking for. And they basically told him his house wasn't worth $10. Every house on this street is worth $300,000. They said his house wasn't worth $10, is what they said in the report. Now, instead of being spiteful and instead of being disrespectful, instead of thinking about all the bad things that happened to me, then I thought about one good thing that I could do.
Come on.
Telling the truth.
That's right.
And say, you know what? I know you had me build you something that you was going to use as an extra room, but you told me it was going to be a deck. I know you did that. I'll charge you $35,000 to do that. But I didn't. When I read the plans, it said deck. So I know you did all those things to me. You didn't pay me the last $1,800 that you owed me. But you know what? I can go to sleep at night, can you?
That's right.
Right, because you know, you just do your part, and God handled the rest.
That's right.
He'll take care of it. He'll take care of it. You don't have to do anything. Karma is real, y'all. It's real. But
the house that's on the street right now, because he got that structural engineer, everything else, including my house, can sell. But his won't be able to, because that structural engineer's report goes to the state of North Carolina, and there's nothing I can do to block it. And so, hey,
But we hope that we talked about some issues that are some that people had questions about, and I hope that it was educational to some people that didn't know a lot of things. But the most important thing, if I can leave you with this, and if a contractor comes to you, ask for their certifications, ask for their credentials. Do not give them half up front. You may not see them again.
not at all. And I'd like to end it with with this. This is a forum. We're happy to be with Divine Connections. I want to give a shout out to the host of the show for giving
Dolores Williams, thank you.
Giving us an opportunity to be on the show.
And stay tuned for a commercial, because we're gonna
do commercial
next.
But what I want to do is I want to give you a round of applause, because you have offered people who don't get a chance to voice their opinions on your platform. And God has a special place for people who will lead his sheep in the right direction.
Come on, sir.
And if anything, the Bible says that those who are called by my name would humble themselves.
That's right.
Well, see, guess what? First thing is you got to be able to humble yourself. But the next verse is, and pray.
Come on.
But see, if you don't pray, you're never going to be humble. And
That's
you're
right.
not humble because you don't pray. I can preach that thing, but we'll talk about that later. But no. But just
sometimes God will intervene, and you have to just step back a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that was for somebody. I don't know.
But just allowing us on the platform.
Thank you.
We want to thank you, Neal Williams, as a company, 18 employees, running strong. We have our good days and bad days, like everybody else.
That's right.
But I want to tell, as I thanked you, I want to thank your viewers. But I want to give them a bit of hope.
Yes.
There is nothing that God can't do.
Come on.
Through you.
There's
nothing that God can't do through you.
That's right.
If you pray and you fast and you seek his face. Because when you're in this construction business right here, you're going to get no. Somebody is going to tell you yeah.
That's right.
And you don't need the bank to buy anything. Stay away from the steakhouse. Stay away from the fish house and going on vacation every 6 or 7 months. And I guarantee you, if you take that same money,
come on,
and you call me, I'll show you where a house is for $10,000. I'll fix it up for you, and that's your first fix and flip, and you never even. But you've got to listen in to this program right here in order to be able to find out where that house is. Because the next time you have us on, I'm going to give one of your audience member the name and the number to a house that's $10,000. It's 3 bedrooms. I know what's wrong with it. I know what needs to be fixed.
All right.
And hopefully, matter of fact, there's no hopefully to it, because after you fix this house up right here, you probably gonna be set for life. They might retire. I don't want it. I'm not interested. But if you stay tuned to this program right here, we're gonna give you tips, and we're gonna give you ideas, and we're gonna give you and guess how much it's gonna cost you? It's not gonna cost you anything. And I'm gonna say these are where the houses is, but you've got to be able to come back to this divine connection with the magazine and everything like that, because we want to promote our sister.
Awesome.
So
vice versa. This was phenomenal. I am loving it. I am loving it. I thank you for coming on. I thank you for your transparency. We all in business and in life, we have our good days and our bad days and experience of working with people and things that go on when you work with people. And then the ones that think they do know everything and then don't know nothing, then they got to
Right.
call you back. Yeah, yeah, all of that, all of that. And then you do so much. So you deal with houses, plumbing, electricity, um,
Mo.
AC mode, and that's a lot of things going on. Because when you become a homeowner, it's exciting. But as you begin to stay there, and the longer you stay there, there are things that go on. I know I got my house built from ground up at the age of 27, and the
Yeah.
experience was phenomenal, and I love it. But I have also had three, I think three times where I think my one of my toilets over flooded.
Mhm.
That was $10,000 to get everything fixed.
Mhm.
One of my toilets, it had just a little crack, just a little bit of crack, and the water started seeking through, and I didn't even know. And I woke up the next morning, my whole first floor was flooded. And thank God for insurance, and they took care of it. I had to pay my deductible. But it's the little things. You don't think about that when you first get in the house. You don't
Right.
think about that. And then when my toilet upstairs overflowed, I had some people to come out. But then when the right people came out, they went to the front of the yard, and they was like, something is probably stuck in the wave pack out, or whatever it's called, in the flow of the water, and they had to dig in front of the yard. And I'm like, it ain't outside because the problem's upstairs. And
Right.
they found exactly where the problem was. Oh no, what happened was there was a bush in front of my house. Um,
Uh-huh.
and the bush, I think it broke into the pipes.
Yeah,
And so
sanitation line.
the root of the pipes were growing inside of the pipe. So it got to a point where the roots got so big, couldn't nothing else flow out. So the
That's right.
water that's supposed to come outside the house, or
Mhm.
come, from outside the house into the pipes, um, it couldn't go nowhere else because it was stuck, because that pipe was stuck with the root of that bush that was out there. And oh my gosh, it was like an experience.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, getting the right people in to know what they supposed to do. And it was a young guy. I was like, wow, how old are you? But he
Mhm.
knew what he was doing, went to the problem, fixed it, I took care of it, and now we're good. So there are things, definitely, whether you have a new house or old house, that will happen that you have to prepare for. And like he's saying, save that money, because things will happen. Your refrigerator might go out, your stove might go out, your washing machine, dryer, whatever. Might have to get a new toilet and all that. But I'm telling you that this is great information, and I'm excited. I'm excited. This is like the first time we're doing this, and I love the transparency. So things are going to come up. And like as he said, stay tuned. We're going to be doing more things like this. So make sure you tune in, and you're going to get some tips and some things. And he already talked about a property that might be about $10,000, that if you are listening into Divine Connections, that you will be able to tap into that. And that's a blessing, how he can take a house and flip it and do the things that he needs to do with it, because he is licensed and because he has the education and the things that they both have in order to make it happen. And I love the oneness together, how you guys are working together to make it happen, supporting one another. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, you guys, thank you so much for coming on, and tell us what areas that you work in, because I know there are going to be some people that probably need to call and connect with you. What areas do you work in?
We work because there's so much work.
Mm-hmm.
Greensboro, High Point,
Mm-hmm.
Winston-Salem.
Mm-hmm.
That basically, I don't have to go, put it this way, from 50 miles from you standing in the center of downtown Greensboro. That's
Mm-hmm.
where as far as we go. Because
Okay.
we don't have to go any further, because there's so much work just right there in that particular area right there.
Yes.
But if there is, and as I told you, we are a company based out of truth and justice and Christianity. If there is a need and somebody says, I can't afford to be able to do this, but if I don't do this, this is what's going to happen. I want them to get in contact with you, and you pass me that information.
Okay.
I don't want. I mean, of course, anybody else who doesn't have a need or who wants something done or something like that. But if there's one person out there that has a need, somebody's grandmother, somebody's auntie that can't exactly afford a ramp or something like that right there, then I want them to contact you, and then I want you to contact me.
Okay.
Because we're going to make sure that sister or that father has a ramp that he can walk outside in his front yard. And that'll be dedicated to that person by Divine Connections and NealWilliams.com. NealWilliams.com.
I love it.
We want to bless somebody now. Somebody needs something. And with your platform, I'm pretty sure you can find it. And we don't have a problem with that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm so excited. Thank you. Thank you for coming on. This is exciting. And we're going to continue this. We're going to continue. They said, thanks for giving back.
Yeah.
Awesome. That is definitely a blessing. Because that's right. To God be the glory. To God be the glory that they are able to be in a situation where they can be a blessing to individuals as well. And so you guys stay connected, stay tuned. You never know what's going to come out of this show. You never know what you're going to hear. You never know what tips you're going to have. It might be an answer to your prayer. So continue to stay tuned. I will let you know more details as we work together and make it happen. And we look forward to connecting with everyone. So the next time, look, like and share, bring the audience, bring your questions. We're going to have a session where people can start asking questions about their home. And he's just going to give you from his experience, their experience, what's going on or what may possibly be going on in your home. Okay. So we want to, the home is a special place. I love to God the glory. I love my house because it's my peace haven.
Yes.
So anything can happen out there, what's going on. But when I come home, that's my peace haven. You know what I'm saying? And so that is a place that you definitely treasure, that you want to keep up with, because as everything, when you age, you get older, things happen in your body. As you live in the house, the longer you stay, things happen. And you want to be able to stay on top of that. I mean, I've had some different things. I had to change a socket. I smelled like I would charge up my phones, but then I started smelling like this burnt smell. And I know that wasn't right, so it was like, I had to turn off, I don't know, maybe the main switch or something. And then so it won't continue to burn until I get somebody in to look at it. And so I had to change that out. So there's always little things that may be going on that you may sense need attention to, and you may not know have the answers or the connection. And so make sure you stay connected. We're going to be doing more things. We'll bring more people on to ask questions because we know you have questions and everything. So listen, stay tuned. Thank you. Thank you. This was phenomenal. And this is Mr. Neal and Miss Leslie Williams, and Neal-Williams.com. You can go to the website, and also 336-991-5252. Also is their number if you need something. So they do decks, electricity. What do you need in your house? Okay. Awesome. I love it. Y'all want to give any last minute words?
No, just thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for supporting this platform right here, because small things come into big things.
That's right.
If God touches it.
Come on, sir.
If you have the faith of a mustard seed. Not everything's about money. Sometimes you just need somebody to point you in the right direction.
That's right.
Barack Obama said it best. He said, sometimes people don't need a hand out.
Mm-hmm.
They just need a hand up.
Come on, sir.
And that's what we want to bring to the platform.
I love it. I love it. I appreciate you even having the thought process to do that. Thank you so much. This is gonna be fun. I'm excited. I'm getting excited because I always even wanted to do a TV show, and I said I was gonna wait till next year. But this could be the beginning of that. You know, a portion of that. You know, let's tell the truth. What's going on? Let's make it happen. Give us some tips and some, you know, things that we can look out for. What's the real deal? You know, and all of that. All of that. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you guys for coming on. And until the next time, this is Dolores Williams with Divine Connections. Make sure you guys stay connected to the number one divine connector, which is Jesus Christ. All right, you guys hold tight. And I am going to give over to our sponsors, and then I'll be right back with you, okay?
Okay.
Thank you again.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Hey, we've got exciting news from Divine Connections Marketing Services. Now you can create your own custom video commercial for your business or organization. It's time for you to win. Your product or service is someone's solution. So get the attention of your potential customers now. Choose from a 30 or 60-second commercial today. Just email us at divineconnectionsmagazine@gmail.com and we can get started. Connect today and let's get started making your custom video commercial now. Divine Connections Magazine. Get major exposure for your business. Is someone looking for your service? Do you need networking? Are you a gospel artist or a ministry? Do you have a major event that you want to promote? Divine Connections Magazine has the solution for you. We can distribute to residents, businesses, churches, and online. Don't miss this opportunity to expand your marketing locally and around the world. Find out more about us at divineconnectionsmagazine.com. Get your spot in the next issue of Divine Connections Magazine by emailing us for details at divineconnectionsmagazine@gmail.com.
Make sure to like us on Facebook at Divine Connections Marketing. Follow us on Instagram at Divine Connections.
Let's get it started now.